not know what he was talking about. So what happens? When you look at this whole thing, there is a great shift. I mean, the emphasis has gone from the kings and the queens and the dukes and the barons and lords and all the men of power, men who are towards the center of power, and you come to see that here are characters. I recall a poem by Wordsworth, The Solitary Reaper, which many of you may have taught or read. There is a stanza where he listens to the song of the solitary reaper, doesn't understand the language, is mesmerized with the tune, and he asks, "Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lake, some natural fear, loss of pain that has been and may be again? Whatever the theme, the maiden song, the maiden sang as if her song could have no ending. And he said that I could hear that song." So you see the emphasis has shifted from Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Hamlet, Othello and all that, to an ordinary solitary reaper who is not even noticing who is passing by. Then we come to something more complicated, and we come to T.S. Eliot. You look at tradition and individual character, and you wonder. And he says that tradition is not merely blindly following what has gone before. If you are blindly following what has gone before, tradition should be seriously discouraged, he says. And then he comes out with concept. Impersonality of poetry. Escape from personality. How do you escape from personality if you are not writing your own emotions? If you are a poet and you are not expressing your emotions, then where is poetry? But he gives you a scientific example, a poet. He gives you the example of the platinum analogy, where he says that if you take sulfur dioxide and mix with oxygen, there is a role played by a platinum. The platinum is a catalyst, which we know as a science student, that a catalyst can accelerate the chemical reaction, but it itself does not take part in the chemical reaction. So you wonder, the personality of poetry. And then he says that platinum is the poet's mind. You again start wondering. And then you come across another statement, where he says, he quotes Shakespeare. And quoting Shakespeare, he says that only those who have a personality know what it means to escape. And everything, if you don't have a personality, what escape? And then you say, okay, Eliot has said there's a personality, and but I still don't find it very convincing. How can a poet write without his emotions? And there is a very interesting a statement from W.H. Auden. He says that my last wish before I die would be a letter to all my students and friends whom I wrote any letter, that as soon as they hear about my death, they should destroy those letters and documents. And see what he says, the reason he gives is, otherwise, some foolish, stupid PhD scholar will be using that as a source of information. Then, after coming to all these critics that I have described, you feel absolutely convincing that by reading these literary theorists, so to say, you feel enhanced in your vision. You feel that you have had a firm grasp of literary or aesthetic or ground realities. And you feel that you have probably become wiser, and it has increased your comprehension of whatever material you have been reading, not only in terms of literature, but in terms of examining your own life. And what I am saying is again substantiated, when Terry Galton wrote Literary Theory and Introduction. In the preface to the 1983 edition, he writes that basically my purpose was to try and make something as arcane, as esoteric, as far-fetched as so-called contemporary literary theory, which is as complicated as nuclear physics, comprehensible to lay readers from different disciplines. And then he says that my purpose, and you see what I have read in my editorial, if you read the prefaces and the introduction of Terry Galton, though it is in some complicated phraseology, but there is a lot of resonance. So what I am trying to tell my teacher friends is what is very important is that you come to know the value of literature, not for the sake of any career advancement, but to embellish your own life. All of you may have heard about Lady Chatterley's Lover. And the first impression you have is, it is a vulgar book, banned in its own time. We must read it secretly but not allow others to read it, because it will taint our minds. But if I have to quote any lines which probably we are not able to forget for the rest of our lives, is the opening lines from D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. And if you read these lines, you would be more drawn to your own life and your own experience as a human being, rather than the vulgar photographs displayed on the cover. And what are the lines? Ours is most essentially a tragic age. Ours is most essentially a tragic age, so we refuse to take it tragically. See the kind of strength of character, the power. Ours is most essentially a tragic age, so we refuse to take it tragically. The cataclysm has happened. We are among the ruins. We start to build up new habitats, have new little hopes. We have got to live no matter how many skies have fallen. The lines that can inspire you through any amount of gloom. The lines that can help you come out of any kind of a despair. And another instance I would like to share with you, which has really impressed me a lot. This is from one of the complicated and complex literary theorists, Friedrich Nietzsche. He has a book, Thus Spake Zarathustra. Zarathustra, the god, descends from the heaven. All the people crowd around him to listen to see who Zarathustra is, God in human form. But suddenly he sees that everyone is disappearing from there. Nobody stands there to meet him. Then he turns around and sees that at a far distant place, a man is walking on a trapeze. It's a usual game that they play. Display of valor, display of skill, and a man is walking on the trapeze. And all the people who had gone to hear the great spirituality from Zarathustra, they have left it and they go and crowd around that trapeze walker. And then there are certain instances. The trapeze walker loses his balance and he falls down and dies. Before he is dying, Zarathustra himself reaches him. And while his last breath is there, Zarathustra tells this man, you have made danger the calling of your life. Therefore, with my own hands, I shall bury thee. And when this dying man listens, there is a last flicker of smile. He raises his hands to catch the hand of Zarathustra. You see, you look at the entire message, the power of literature and what literature can evoke. Because when you read this, what I've just shared with you, you understand how life's meanings can be made comprehensible, can inspire us to turn away from the accepted kind of glorification, be it a mortal or a spiritual being, and then tread our own path. Before I conclude, I would like to take you to a book again, which many of you may have heard, most of you may have read. Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. In Alice in Wonderland, when Alice is confused, she looks at the Cheshire cat. The cat is sitting on the branch of a tree, and Alice asks, what road am I to take? And the cat says, but where do you want to go? And Alice says, I don't know where I want to go. And then the cat says, if you do not know where you want to go, how does it matter? That's it. So fellow teachers, while pursuing the complex terrain of literary theories, you will have to decide where you want to go. Because if you don't know where you